The final step to any cabinet job is to add the jewelry, the handles, so the finishing touch. We're going to show you 3 ways today: beginner, intermediate, and pro, how to drill and install your handles.
Support for this episode is provided by Quick Screws. For over 40 years, pros have trusted Quick Screws to have the right fastener for the job. With one of the largest catalogs in the industry, there's a quick screw made for whatever you're making. The right screw always matters. Check them out at quickscrews.com.
So the 3 methods we're going to show you today, one being the most simple, tape and a pencil. So this is how most guys start out. You're just going to lay out a line onto your door or your drawer and drill a hole. It's simple and it's good for 1 or 2 handles, but if you're going to do any more than that, you want to use some type of jig for consistency and speed. So the second way is going to be with a little template. So this is what I used to do. We're going to use some 1/8" hardboard and just a piece of plywood with a little slot in it, and we'll show you how we make a jig. And then the last is going to be what we use now. It's the True Position Tools jig. I'm going to keep it closed so it's a surprise for you. This is an American-made, beautiful aluminum precision jig for doing cabinet handles and knobs, and it has some other functions with some accessories like line boring for shelf pins. So we'll show you how to use that, but we'll head into the office and show you the first method. We're here in the office in the middle of the showroom build with Van Dyke's Restores, and we're, I know I keep saying this, we're getting very close to the end, but good things come to those who wait. So we're taking our time to make it right. We have our last section of cabinets here that need handles. You can see we have the handles everywhere else. We're using these gorgeous handles with back plates, or knobs I should say, from Van Dyke's Restores. You have a back plate that you can either use or omit. I think it looks great. These are unlacquered, so they'll get a little patina on them, which I really like. Brass and this nice white is a great combination. This is called White Drifts, I believe, by Benjamin Moore is the color. So first way is the most simple. We're going to use a tape measure, a pencil, a combo square, and we're going to just lay out the location of the handle. So you can see here what we're using. So I like to use the line, the intersection of the bottom of the rail and carry that across the stile, find the center of the stile, and that's where our hole goes. So use a little bit of tape. You want to protect the surface of your door. And depending on how you like to do it, there's a bunch of different ways to do this. We know that we have 2.5" rails and stiles, right? So we could come up 2.5 from here, or what I like to do is actually just take a combo square and I'll flush it up here to the rail, strike a line. And again, I could measure over 1/2 of 2.5, which is 1.25 inches. Or if I was doing a few, I would likely set up 1 square to do this, carry this line across, and I'd have 1 set to 1.25 inches. That way I could just quickly mark a bunch of doors. Now it's as simple as just drilling that. So with a 3/16 regular twist or split point bit like this, it might want to walk a little bit, so it's a good idea to sort of punch yourself a little hole. So you take an awl, find your crosshair, and just give yourself a little dimple. Then the drill bit's going to find that, and it's going to, stay centered there. Check the inside of your cabinet. If you're going to drill with the door closed, make sure there's nothing in there. You can see the insides here, this nice domestic prefab plywood, and our doors from New England Coatings and Doors. So we can close our door, get lined up, start out slow so that we make sure that we're staying where we need to. And I try and go slow on the finish because we don't want to blow a big hole out of the back. But this material, this glacier green, is good for not blowing out. I'm going to open it. There's going to be a huge crater. Well, that's actually, typically it doesn't do that. That's pretty bad, but our screw is going to cover most of that. A tip you can do is to actually clamp a block back there. So we can pop our handle on. I suggest using a screwdriver for this, or you can use a drill, but set the torque limiter. So there's our handle. So it works great. You can see it's where it needs to be, but it was definitely slower than it could have been. So we'll move to the next door. We'll go into the shop. I'll show you how I build the jig, and then we can drill this door. Ready to make our little jig. So I have two things here. This is a piece of, it's what we call 3mm Fibrex. It's 1/8 inch hardboard or masonite. We use this most typically on sub-zero fridge panels. It's the perfect size spacer, but it's good to have for jigs and stuff like that. Good to lay stuff out on. So I have that. I have a little rip of 3/4 plywood that was laying around, and I put a groove that fits the Fibrex, so an 1/8 inch groove that's centered. And we're going to use this as our little fence, and it's centered so that we can use this interchangeably, so on a left-handed door and a right-handed door. So I'm actually going to cut just some little blocks. I want to leave the corner open because if the door is slightly out of square, we don't want that to interfere. So we just want those 2 points of contact. So let's see. Well, this is not rocket science at all. We'll cut this one, say about that big, and then this one we'll cut about that big. So we've got our two pieces. Want to make sure you're using the square sides of your piece. So I cut these 3 sides on the Strebig so I know that they're dead square. This is actually a factory over here. So we'll take just a little bit of super glue. So a little bit of glue, nothing crazy. This isn't going to see a lot of abuse. Can put a little activator on there. Slide this on, and you want to make sure that you're fully bottomed out, because otherwise this isn't going to be square in reference to the space. So we're nice and bottomed out there. We're going to put this one up here. Right. Cool. And this is the kind of thing where, you know, you can make, say, half a dozen of these. If you're making one, keep them in your van or keep them in the shop, and when you go to do a different layout of hardware, you already have, you know, one of these jigs made. So what we need to do now is we need to lay out that hole on this piece. So we know that if this is our style, right, this is our bottom rail, we need to come over 1 1/8 inches, or sorry, 1 1/4 inches from this point. So I'm going to turn the tape so I can see, but 1 1/4 inches. And then we need to be 2.5 inches up from the bottom. So you need to reference off of this though. You can't pull onto there. 2.5 inches. Now I'm going to grab a slightly larger square so I can reference those. So I have a larger square here that I can reference off of these square edges. And that's where our hole's going to be. So you can do this on the drill press, or you can just repeat what we did in the office. And I'm going to hang it onto the corner here so that it's nice and flat. And we can drill that hole. So there we have it. There's our little jig. We can take this into the office and show you how it works. Have our jig and our next door. So you can see how this is reversible. And you're able to use it on a door with hinges on the right. So that's why we have this, you know, sort of T-shape. If you did it one-sided, you would have to make 2. So this groove trick is nice. So I always like to check the first one just because we all mess up. So I'll actually mark it on the door because it's all covered up. I can't really see where it's going to go, and just confirm that it's in the right spot. So that looks good to me. So now it's the same steps as the last one. We're just going to hold this in place, you know, making sure that this is tight and this is tight. You need to watch your fingers behind the door on this one. You can actually clamp this. You know, sometimes it's easier that way. Just throw a clamp up here, but we'll hold it where we need it. Sometimes I'll take the jig away, so that I don't want to wallow this hole out over multiple handles. So really you just want to get the hole started, and then you can remove it and finish the hole. So there we have it. See, this is typically what it looks like on the back. Had a bit of an anomaly on the last one. And even though we had that blowout, you could see it's fully covered by the screw. So no big deal. So take our knob and our back plate, pop this on. We'll be installing the glass on these doors that came from Van Dyke's the next couple weeks. So there we have it, nice handle on our glass door. So by far the easiest way to do this is with this True Position Tools jig. So this is a nice aluminum jig, and you're able to set it to the exact size that you need. And we'll use this stop as well. So you have a metric and an imperial scale here. So this is the guide that'll go on the edge of the door on the stile. So we can loosen this knob, and we want to set that to 1 1/4 inches. So they actually have some dots here on, I guess, the common sizes. So we can bring that to 1 1/4 inches, split that line and tighten it down, so that puts us centered on the stile, right? Now we need to set the distance from the bottom edge, which is 2.5 inches. So slide this on, and now we need to use the bottom of this because that's the top of this stop. Bring that to 2.5 inches, which is right here. Tighten that down. I know some guys like to, Dwayne, talking about you, they like to use a pair of pliers and really crank these down. I haven't had issues with them moving, but you want to make sure that these are tight, because multiple times hitting up against the door, they can move. So you want to make sure they're tight. And it pays to take a look every now and then and make sure that your settings have stuck. So we'll do the same thing we did before, where we actually check this. This is a little bit easier to see than the other one, but we want to make sure that our hole's in the right spot. So looks good to me. Just double check our center, make sure we're good. Looks like, yeah, I'm a little bit light here on my mark. I'm going to show that whole line. That'll get us over to where we want to be. So this has a hardened bushing here, so we don't have to worry about removing this. We can just hold it up, grab our drill. Typically you're not working at a height above your head, but grab your drill. Drill our hole, grab our piece of hardware. And doors with hinges on the right are always more difficult for me because I'm right-handed, and now I need to put this on here left-handed. So we pop in our screw, get our back plate on there. There you have it. 3 different ways to install handles. So this True Position's great. You could use this for drawers as well. So take off this knob here. So if you had a bunch of drawers that were the same size, these are 6-inch drawer faces. So center of the drawer would be 3. You could set your fence to 3, and you could use that to find the center of your drawer. I like to use just a little center mark. That's the easiest way I've found, but you can actually use extensions that hook onto the side of the drawer. So really handy jig, really well made. We've had this for, I want to say, about 5 years, and we use it on every job, and it's just like the day we bought it. So worth the investment. It's probably about I want to say 175, maybe 180 bucks. Maybe more than that now, but we'll put a link to it down below if you want to check it out. So that's 3 different ways to install cabinet handles. Let us know how you guys do it. Hopefully you enjoyed, maybe you learned something. Let us know, and we'll talk to you next week.